This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So in the last class, we have just seen the demo part of our course, full stack Java. So just have given the contents, what we are going to discuss. Let me recap those contents here. Like initially we go with core Java, even we call it as Java SC, stands for standard edition. The main use of going with core Java is used to develop standalone or desktop applications. Used to develop what? Standalone or desktop applications. Some of the examples of desktop applications are like calculator, notepad, paint, Microsoft Word, all this comes under desktop applications. The next one is we go with the web technologies. Even we call it as UI design or front end design. Here we go with the contents like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, XML, JSON, TypeScript, and Angular. The next one, advanced Java. Even we call it as Java EE, stands for Enterprise Edition, where it is used to develop web applications. It's for web applications, and the contents what we discuss over here is servlets and JSP. JSP stands for Java Server Pages. The next and very important category, that is frameworks. And here we are going to learn two important frameworks. One is Hibernate Framework and one more Spring Framework. Spring Framework. Before we go to Spring Framework, even we discuss web services as we use this web services concept in Spring Framework. And in this Spring Framework, we'll be making use of we'll be learning the modules like Spring Core or Bean module, Spring DAO module, where we discuss three submodules like Spring JDBC, Spring ORM, where we integrate with Hibernate, and Spring Data module. Next one, we go with the Spring MVC module, which is mainly used to develop web applications. Then even we discuss one more very important one, Spring Boot module. Then we'll be going finally with Spring REST module using Spring Boot. Next one will be even going with microservices using Spring Boot. The next category is real-time tools. So where we will be learning some of the real-time tools like Maven, GitHub, Lombok, Postman, like this. The duration of our course, goes with approximately 55 hours, maximum 55 hours, and the time of our class is Monday to Friday at 7 p.m. IST. Monday to Friday at 7 p.m. IST, and the class will go for maximum 1 hour. Okay, and whatever the GoToMeeting link you are having, you can use the same link to join for this complete week. Right? Now, the class is getting recorded. That recordings will be shared to you after the class. It's a regular process. Yeah. Any questions, anyone up to here? Right. So today let us move to the today's topic. Before we enter into any programming languages like C or C++ or Java or .NET or Python, whatever it may be, every programmer should have a basic idea on programming concepts. So if you are having some basic idea on programming concepts, entering into any programming language will be easy for us. So the objective today is we'll be understanding the programming concepts so that from the next class we can enter into Java technology very easily. So today let us understand the programming concepts. So before we enter into this, what we are going to write is program. So let us understand what is a program. How to define a program is like a program is a collection of statements used to do a specific task. Used to do what? A specific task. We write some statements mainly used to perform some task. The examples of task like finding area of a rectangle, finding total marks of a student, finding net salary of an employee, adding a book to the library, depositing amount in the bank, adding an item into the cart, booking a movie ticket, like this. These all things are called as tasks. To do that, we have to write some statements. That set of statements only we call as program. So when you are writing the program, we make use of some of the concepts like the first one. Let us understand about comments. Let us understand about comments. So what is this comment is like? Whenever we are writing a program, your program should be understood by other people also. Other programmers are also will check our program and they will be elaborating our program, or they may add some more code to our program, right? Now, so what are the programs we write? In order to make our program to be understandable by other programmers or even ourselves in future, we have to document that. That documentation we do by using comments. So you can say comments are used to document a program, and ignored by the programming language. Then we're having two types of comments. They are single line comment and multi-line comment. So when we go for single line, we use the symbol slash slash. For multi-line, we use the symbol slash star and end with again star slash. Like example, you can say slash slash to find area of a rectangle. One more example, for multi-line, slash star to find gross salary and net salary of an employee. This is what multi-line comment. For single line, we use slash slash, slash star and end with again star slash is multi-line. This is mainly for what? To document your program. You are elaborating more what you are doing inside the program. And this is ignored by the language. The next one is keyword. So when you take any programming language like C, C++, Java, .NET, Python, there will be some words which are understood by the language automatically. Those words only we call it as keywords. Those words only we say keywords. So you can say a keyword is a reserved word or predefined word whose meaning is known to the language directly. Language will understand these words automatically. Some of the examples of keywords are like int, float, if, else, char, while, do, for, class, public, private, like this. These are some of the examples of keywords where many programming language supports. The next one is variable. The next one is what? Variable. The meaning of variable is like, the meaning of variable is whenever you want to store some data, like example, if I want to store like employee number, we require some memory space. If I want to store some employee number, we require some memory space. If you want to store something like salary, we require some memory space. If you want to store something like name, we require some memory space to store the data. The names what you are giving to the memory spaces to store the data, these names only we call them as what? Variables. These names only we call variable. So how to define a variable is like, a variable is an identifier which allocates some memory space. So like examples, you can say employee number, student name, gross salary, item price, like this. These are some of the examples of variable names. The next and one more very important one here is data type. So the meaning of data type is like, once we allocate memory space for variable, like example age. So when we say age, what type of data we store in age? Like example 20. So a numeric value without a decimal point, we call it as integer. If you take like name, so in name, we generally store a value, some collection of characters, collection of alphabets. Then we call it as what? String. Next one, for example, if you want to store something like height, so in height we generally store something like 5.9. So a numeric value with a decimal point, we call it as float. Float type. So the meaning of data type is like, once we allocate memory space for variable, what type of data you want to store in the allocated variable, that only we call data type. So you can define a data type like, type of data a variable holds is called as data type. Type of data the variable holds is called as what? Data type. Some of the examples of data type like int, char, float, string, like this. String means collection of characters. Collection of characters only makes a string. So whatever I am discussing, everything will be rediscussed once again once we enter into the Java basics. So we'll be learning the Java syntaxes there. The next important one is declaration of variable. So whenever we want to store some data into the variable, we need to allocate memory for it. So in order to allocate memory space for variable, we need to declare it. So what is the meaning of declaration is, in order to allocate memory space for variable, we need to declare the variable. The syntax of declaring variable is, the meaning of syntax is like rules of the language, rules of your programming language, like grammatical rules. So that syntax of declaring variable is, we have to provide the data type Then variables like variable 1 comma variable 2 comma like that, variable n. Most of the programming languages like C, C++, Java.NET, every statement we end with semicolon. Like example, you can say int a comma b. So a and b are variables of type integer. Means in a and b we can store only integer values. Character C, float f, string name like this. In order to allocate memory space for variables, we have to declare the variable. Without declaring the variable, we cannot use that variables in our program. Right? Clear everyone? Any questions up to here?
Clear.
Right. Now, let us move to the next one. This is the next and very, very important one. That is method or function. Both the meanings are same. Either you can say method or function. In Java, we call it as method. In C, C++, we call it as function. That's only the difference. So how to define is a method is a subprogram. A method is what? It is a subprogram which is used to do a specific task. A part of program is only a method. Like example, we want to find area of a rectangle. So in order to find area of a rectangle, we are going to define a method like area rect. We are going to define a method like area rect. So if you are having some basic idea on Excel also, you might have used some functions in Excel like sum, average, count. Those functions, those only we call methods or function. Okay. Now the task is what here? We want to find what? Area of a rectangle. Then I'm going to define a method area rect, and here we have to end with parenthesis. So when we see some word, after that when we see parenthesis, that means it is a, then we go with open and close curly braces. This is the way how method looks. Name of the method, then parenthesis, then open and close curly brace. Then in order to find area of a rectangle, what data do we require? In order to find area of a rectangle, what data do we require? What's the formula for area of rectangle?
Length and breadth.
Length, width.
Yeah, length and breadth. And what's the formula? Length into breadth will give area. So what is the data required to perform area rect task? Length and breadth. So that input what we require to perform this task, that we have to pass in between these parentheses like this. int length, comma int breadth. Right? So this length and breadth are variables, even we call them as arguments, and we have to provide the data type before the variable. Okay, then only it is going to allocate memory space for your variable. So this length and breadth are arguments, or even we call parameters. Now in order to find area of a rectangle, I'm taking a variable area, and the formula is what? Length into breadth. Now, since we are using a variable area, so to allocate memory for area, we have to declare it. So declare before using the variable. Now, so what is the value of area? It's going to multiply length and breadth. Now, so this code, whatever you are writing, we call it as defining the method. Defining the method means we are writing the code inside the method. Now let us call the method. Calling the method. Whenever you want to call method, we have to do like this: area rect, and we have to pass the values 10, 5. Now what is going to happen? This 10 will come and store into length variable, 5 will come and store into breadth variable. Then what will be the value of area now? What's the value of area now?
50.
50, right? The value of area is 50. This result, whatever we got, This result, whatever we got, this result, we want to give it back to this method. We want to give it back here. How to give it back is by using the keyword return, and we have to pass the name of the variable, return area. So this 50, the result will come and store into this method now, and you can even store it into some other variable and print here. If you print A, what value it's going to print? 50 for us. So this is called as defining the method, means writing the code inside the method. This you are calling the method. When you call the method, we pass the values. Then whatever the result we get, that result, if I want to give it back to the method, we have to use what keyword? Return, and give that value back that I'm storing into A, and when I print it, we get 50. Now, this area, whatever you are returning, what is the data type of this area? What is the data type of area variable?
Int.
Integer, right? What is the data type of area variable? Integer. So before the method name, we have to mention the data type, what you are returning. This, whatever you are mentioning, the data type before method name, this we call it as return type. This word is important for me. This is the main reason why I'm discussing this concept here. The meaning of method, return type. So whatever the value you are going to return, the value whatever you are giving outside of your method. So whatever the value you are returning, we have to mention the data type of that variable before the method name. This only we call return type. So what is the return type? The return type of area rect method is integer. If you take the same method, but you are not, I don't want to return the value of area outside. I want to print over here only. I want to print area here only. So you are not using return keyword. You are not using return keyword to return the value of your result. I want to print over there only. You want to print here only. Then since you are not returning any value outside of your method, then here we have to use a keyword void. That use a keyword what? Void. Void means no return type. No return type. So this void word is important for us before we enter into Java. So mainly to discuss about void keyword only, I have taken this concept called as method or function. So don't worry on this too much now. Just a basic idea. Just to remember the terms. Just remember the terms. What we use in the programming languages, like the meaning of comments, then the meaning of keywords, the meaning of variables, the meaning of data type, how to declare variable, what is method or function, and how to define, and the concept of return type. So if you are not giving any value outside of your method, then we have to provide the return type as what? Void. Void means no return type. So these are the basic concepts required, basic terminology required before we enter into Java. However, I'm going to discuss all these concepts once again so many times. Lot of example programs we are going to do by using all these concepts, so many examples. So where I'll be even giving assignments to you to do the task, everything I'll be taking care once we start with the basics part. Right? Any questions, anyone?
No.
Right. So in the next class, I'll be entering into Java, where I'm going to start off with Java introduction.